Hey everyone! Welcome to episode 9 of the Exploration series. In this series, we pick a familiar favorite and explore some different versions of it from around the world. I'm Amy, and in this episode, we're making a pit stop in New Mexico for some Santa Fe style tacos. They're known for the defining flavor of the signature New Mexico chili pepper. Now, chili peppers in the region were originally grown by the Pueblo, and continuing cultivation by the Spanish helped to create what we now know today as the New Mexico chili pepper. The Spanish also introduced the pig to the region, and pork became an integral part of the cuisine because the rich flavor of pork pairs exceptionally well with the spicy, earthy, and sometimes even fruity flavors of the red and green chilies in the region. And today, we're making a classic dish, Carne Adovada, which is related to Mexican carne adovada, but it is unique to New Mexico. So let's get cooking. We're gonna start with a fresh salsa verde made from another New Mexican staple, the hatch green chili, which can actually be several varieties of chili pepper, but it must be grown in the Hatch Valley in New Mexico to be considered a hatch chili. Salsa roja and salsa verde are common additions to a lot of New Mexican cuisine, and tacos are no different. We're starting with 4 fresh hatch green chilies and 1 pound of tomatillos, which for me was 8 tomatillos. I turned my oven to broil, and we're going to coat the chilies and the tomatillos in a little bit of oil and place them on a baking sheet. Broil these until the skins are charred and bubbly on both sides. I broiled these for 9 minutes, flipped everything over, and then broiled them for another 9 minutes. While the chilies are in the oven, peel 6 garlic cloves and set them to the side. They don't need minced or anything, just peeled. Also, grab a gallon-sized freezer bag. You'll see in just a second what this is for, but it is very, very important. When the chilies and tomatillos are done, we have 3 things we have to do. First, we're going to admire how beautiful these things are. These are exactly what we want. Second, using some tongs, put the chilies in the freezer bag, close them up in there, and let them sit in that bag for 10 minutes. We're doing this because the steam will loosen the skins so they're easier to peel. Third, put the tomatillos in the blender. Look at that steam. Yeah, make sure to use tongs unless you have asbestos hands. I'm still working on mine, so I'm using tongs. Add the 6 garlic cloves to the blender and a handful of fresh cilantro, about a cup's worth, stems and all. After 10 minutes, pull the chilies out of the bag. Cut off the stems and then peel the skins off. It should come off pretty easily, but you may find a few little trouble spots. It's okay if you can't get every little bit of skin off, we just want to get off as much as we can. Also, open them up and get out as many of the seeds as possible too. You can use a spoon, but I did find it easier to just use hands. The peppers were still kind of warm, but they weren't finger burning hot anymore, so I didn't have problems handling them. When that's all done, the flesh of the chili goes into the blender with all the other stuff. Then just blend this all up until it's nice and smooth or to the consistency that you prefer. And then our salsa verde is done. This can be made at any time, even a few days before the tacos. Just chuck it in the fridge in an airtight container, and this will stay nice and fresh for about a week. The next thing I did was whip up some flour tortillas. New Mexican tacos can be served on either corn or flour tortillas, and both are commonly used as it's largely just personal preference. The more traditional style would be to use corn, and a more modern style would be to use flour. I made a full walkthrough on how I make flour tortillas last week when we made Sonoran tacos, and I'll link that in the description so you can revisit those because they were perfect tortilla for these tacos. Now we're ready to prepare our pork. We need 1.5 pounds of pork shoulder, and we're going to trim off any really large amounts of fat. You do want some of the fat, just not entire pieces of pork that are just fat. Then slice the meat into pieces that will be convenient for the tacos. I went with pieces roughly about the size of my thumb. Set this to the side, and now we're going to prepare our dried chilies. So we need 2 ounces of dried New Mexico chilies. The bag I bought was 2.5 ounces, and I just used the whole bag. If you can't find New Mexico dried chilies in your area, you can substitute with the much easier to find dried guajillo chili peppers. Rinse them off just to get rid of any residual dust or dirt, and then we're going to pull off the stems and tap out the seeds. Like the fresh hatch chilies, you don't need to get rid of them all, just tap out whatever comes out and leave the rest. You shouldn't need a knife or anything either, the stems should just tear right off since the dry peppers are pretty brittle. When all the chilies have been destemmed, Soak them in hot water for 10 to 15 minutes to rehydrate them so they get nice and soft. We don't want any weird hard pieces of dried pepper in the sauce, and we're not removing skins for these either. These are going to go in the blender just like this after they soften up. After about 15 minutes, our peppers are soft and we're ready to make our sauce. Put all of the rehydrated chilies into the blender. Add 1 cup of chicken stock, broth, or bouillon, 2 cloves of crushed garlic, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of Mexican oregano. And you do want Mexican, not Italian oregano. Mexican oregano and Italian oregano are not actually the same plant and have very, very different flavor profiles. Italian oregano is part of the mint family and has a light, almost minty flavor, whereas Mexican oregano is part of the verbena family and it has a citrusy, almost licorice-like flavor. Granted, even in Arizona, I could not find it in my local grocery stores, but I was able to find Mexican oregano online. Then just blend this up just like the fresh salsa until it's nice and smooth. Look at that beautiful red sauce. That is just lovely. Next, we're going to want to grease a square baking dish with some oil. I'm using avocado oil here, but you can just use an oil spray. It's just to prevent the pork from sticking to the bottom. Now add in the pork, and you don't have to be picky, just space it out so it's not like in a big pile. Layer on about 1/2 cup of chopped white onion, which was about 1/2 of a medium onion for me. Last, pour that amazing red sauce all over everything. Yes, I'm being a little extra here, but you can just dump it on if you want. Grab some tongs and make sure that everything is completely submerged in the sauce and that you don't have any areas where the sauce didn't sink to the bottom of the pan. We want everything to be really nicely coated. Then pop a lid on this and let it marinate for about 30 minutes. About 10 minutes before it's done marinating, preheat the oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. After 30 minutes, remove the lid and pop this in the oven. This will bake for 45 minutes, but it needs to be mixed about halfway through. Alright, well that's bacon, let's get started on our rice. New Mexican tacos are normally served with Mexican rice and refried beans, so of course we're going to do that. Heat a large skillet over medium heat, and when it's nice and hot, add in 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm using avocado oil here again. When it's nice and shimmery, add 2 cups of a long grain white rice, like basmati or jasmine rice work great. Keep moving this around in the pan so it doesn't burn or pop like puffed rice cereal, and we want to toast this until the rice starts to turn a golden-ish color. This takes about 5, maybe 6 minutes, but keep a close eye on it so the rice doesn't get too dark. Okay, so while our rice is toasting here, I want to give you just a little baby sidebar on another common mix-up, and that is the difference between Spanish rice and Mexican rice. Spanish rice uses saffron for that nice yellow color, and the rice is cooked for a shorter period of time, like 15 minutes, so it retains a much firmer texture. Mexican rice, on the other hand, uses tomatoes and cumin or chili powder, and is a rich reddish orange color. It's also cooked to be soft and fluffy, usually about 30 minutes, so like double the time for Spanish rice. While many people use the names interchangeably, they're not the same thing, and they have very, very different flavors. Spanish rice is really earthy, almost floral because of the saffron, while Mexican rice has a nutty flavor from the cumin and a mild acidity from the tomato sauce. It can even be a little spicy if you add chili powder. Okay, tangent over. So when the rice is nicely goldenish, pour in 4 cups of chicken stock. You could use broth or bouillon too, and be careful because that part's a little exciting. I'm using some homemade stock here. Add in 1 cup or 8 ounces of tomato sauce, a teaspoon each of salt and cumin, a teaspoon of minced garlic, which is about 1 clove. Add in some black pepper to taste, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon, and give this a good stir so everything's really well combined. But be gentle because it's pretty splashy at this point. Bring this to a simmer and then turn the heat down to low, like the lowest of the low. Cover the pan and simmer this for about 30 minutes, stirring every 5 minutes or so to keep track of how much liquid is left in there. So we're halfway through on our pork, so let's grab this out of the oven and give it a good mix. Then we'll pop it back in the oven for the last half of its bake. Here's some progression on the rice so you can see how it should look as it cooks. The last is at about 30 minutes of cook time, and you can see the liquid is completely gone and the rice is beautifully fluffy. This rice almost melts in your mouth, which is exactly what we want, and the flavor tomatoey, nutty, little hints of the chicken, just perfect. And right about the same time, our pork is ready to come out of the oven. Look at that bubbly, beautiful pork adobada, that rich red sauce, the soft onion, that marinated pork. That meat is as red as the sauce, and it is just as flavorful. So now we only have one more thing to whip up, and that's our beans. And I'm making a really fast down and dirty beans recipe, which takes a can of pinto beans, a little bit of chicken broth, and some spices. That, a masher, and less than 10 minutes is all this needs. So grab a medium pan like this one and pour in 1/3 cup of chicken broth. Add some garlic powder, onion powder, cumin, a little black pepper, and a pinch of salt, and stir this around. When it gets bubbly, dump in 1 15-ounce can of drained and rinsed pinto beans. Now just get to mashing. Break up the beans till you're happy with the consistency. If it looks a little dry or too thick, add just a little more chicken broth until you're happy. And when the consistency is good, give it another few moments on the heat, and then the beans are finished. And now we're ready to eat. Okay, we have everything. Our pork adobada, our Mexican rice, our salsa verde, beans, some fresh onion, lime wedges, cilantro for toppings. And these tacos are deceptively simple. Some pork, fresh onion, a little squeeze of lime juice, and cilantro on the tortilla, and that's it. Some rice and beans on the side, and we can't forget a smidgen of our fresh green salsa. And now we have a full dinner, New Mexico style. Okay, so these tacos are amazing. The pork has so much flavor. It's earthy, it's sweet, it pairs perfectly with the pork, but it also has a decent amount of heat. Now, the New Mexico pepper isn't known for being an overly spicy pepper, but it can have a slow burning heat, and the heat in this definitely blooms as you eat it. The salsa does have some spice too, but it's actually really cooling in the taco, and I think it's a necessary ingredient in there. It's very fresh tasting. It's almost a little fruity. It is really, really tasty, and I think the salsa verde may just be my favorite part of this adventure. And the rice and beans on the side make this a nicely rounded out meal, not just a snack. Although we are going to be eating these tacos as a snack until we either run out of the amazing pork or our taste buds burn off. If you love tender pork marinated in a spicy, smoky, yet somewhat sweet sauce, and then fresh cooling salsa that has an almost buttery flavor, amazingly, then this New Mexican pork adobada is the thing for you. Thank you so much for watching Explorations Santa Fe Style Tacos. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment below for me if you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned next Wednesday because we're heading to Texas, where cattle and cowboys still roam the wide open spaces and Tex-Mex is king. And don't miss out on Sundays because every week I share a new, cozy, comforting homemade recipe. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Wednesday for some more exploring. Bye!